So today we will start the fourth module, inverse of a matrix. So here we will mainly consider square matrices. So a matrix is said to be square if the number of rows and columns are equal in it. So in this section we will mainly consider square matrices. So suppose that A is an n by n matrix. It means that it is a square matrix. It has n rows and n columns. And also if suppose A and B are two real numbers, then we know that if the product AB equal to 1, then we say that B is the inverse of A. So in real numbers we know that every non-zero element has an inverse. But coming to matrices, we have AB and BA always need not be equal. So if A and B are two matrices, AB need not be equal to BA. That is, it does not satisfy commutative property. But in real numbers, we know that if A and B are two numbers, then the product AB is same as the product BA. Okay. So in real numbers, we say that if AB, the product AB equal to 1, then B is the inverse of A. But in coming to matrices, suppose A is an n by n matrix, then we say that B is the inverse of A if AB and BA both are equal to the identity matrix I, where I is of the same order, that is the order of A and B. So A and B are two square matrices. Suppose that A is an n by n matrix, and if there exists an n by n matrix B such that the product AB is same as the product BA and both are equal to the identity matrix, where the identity matrix is also the matrix of order n by n, then we say that A is invertible or A is non-singular. We also use the word non-singular. So A is invertible means it has an inverse, and here the inverse is B. Here we can also say that B is invertible and the inverse of B is A. So this is our definition. We mark it as equation number 1, that is B is said to be the inverse of A if AB equal to BA equal to I. Consider an example. Let A be a 2 by 2 matrix. So it has 2 rows and 2 columns. So the rows are 2, 1 and 1, 1, and B equal to 1, minus 1, minus 1, 2. Here we see that first we calculate AB. So you know how to multiply two matrices. So when you multiply it, you see that it is the identity matrix I of order 2. So 2 by 2 matrix. Similarly, you find what is BA. We can see that BA is also identity matrix I. So in this case, we can say that B is the inverse of A, as well as we can say that A is the inverse of B, because both satisfy the equation AB equal to BA equal to I. Hence the matrix A is invertible. A has an inverse and its inverse is the matrix B. Now in real numbers, we know that if AB equal to 1, then B is the inverse of A, and hence every non-zero real number has an inverse. But this is not the situation of matrices. That is, not every non-zero square matrix has an inverse. For example, you consider the 2 by 2 matrix A equal to 1, 1, 0, 0. So we don't know what will be, whether it has an inverse or not. So we will suppose let B, the matrix B, be its inverse with entries B equal to B1, B2, B3, B4. Now our criteria is to check whether AB is identity and BA is identity matrix. So first we will do AB. So when you multiply A and B, AB should be equal to the identity matrix I. So when you do the multiplication, you can see that the first row is B1 plus B3, B2 plus B4, 0, 0. And it should be equal to the identity matrix 1, 0, 0, 1. We see that this is never possible because the last entry of LHS, the matrix in LHS is 0, and the last entry in the identity matrix is 1. and 1 can never be equal to 0. From this we conclude that we cannot find B1, B2, B3, B4 such that A be equal to the identity matrix. Hence, A has no inverse. A is not invertible. Now some another terms. An n by n matrix that has no inverse is called singular. So here you can see that the matrix A is singular because it has no inverse. So if a matrix has no inverse, if it is not invertible, we say that the matrix is singular. If a matrix, by non-singular, we mean that the matrix has an inverse. So if an n by n matrix is non-singular, means it has an inverse. Then we denote its inverse by A inverse. So A inverse is the inverse of A. We also note that the inverse of a matrix is always unique. That is, a matrix cannot have more than one inverses. So if the matrix A is non-singular, its inverse is always unique. So it will have one and only one matrix B such that AB equal to BA equal to identity matrix I. If there exists any other matrix C with the property that AC equal to CA equal to I, then this B and C must be equal. That is, you will not get two matrices, two inverses for the same matrix. Hence, the inverse of a matrix is always unique. Now, we will study some properties of this matrices. So suppose that A and B are two non-singular matrices. Then the first property is A inverse whole inverse is A itself. That is, the inverse of A inverse is A. Second property is that AB whole inverse is B inverse A inverse. It is also called the reciprocal law. And the third one is A transpose whole inverse is A inverse whole transpose. So A transpose, I think you know what is A transpose means. You have to interchange, to write the transpose of A, you have to interchange rows and columns. So you will get the transpose matrix. So first of all, we will prove the first condition, that is A inverse whole inverse is A. So we have to show that inverse of A inverse is A. So it is given that A is a non-singular matrix. So it has an inverse. So we denote its inverse by A inverse. Then by equation 1, we have A inverse is A inverse A equal to the identity matrix. The definition of inverse matrix that we have marked as equation number 1. Now this is same as A inverse A equal to A inverse equal to I. Again, we make use of equation 1. So it is of the form AB equal to BA equal to I. And comparing this equation with equation 1, we get that A is the inverse of A inverse, which means that A inverse whole inverse equal to A. So the first part is proved. Now proof of the second property. Second property is the reversal law, that is AB whole inverse equal to B inverse A inverse. So you can remember this property like that. Suppose that A resembles wearing a socks and B denotes wearing a shoe, and inverse represent the reverse process, that is you have to take off your shoe and socks. So first we will take off the shoe, so it is B inverse. Then we will remove the socks, so it is A inverse. So by remembering this, we can remember this reversal law, that is AB whole inverse is B inverse A inverse. Now we will prove this. It is given that A and B both are non-singular matrices, so it will have inverses. So let their inverses be A inverse and B inverse. Then again by equation 1, we will get A inverse equal to A inverse A equal to the identity matrix I, and B inverse equal to B inverse B equal to identity matrix I. Now we will see this AB into B inverse A inverse, which can be written as, using the associative property, we can write it as A into, in bracket B inverse, into A inverse. So we already know that B inverse is the identity matrix I. So we substitute for that. So A into identity matrix I into A inverse. Also we know A in identity matrix into any matrix will give you that matrix itself. So A into I is A itself. So we have A inverse, which is again identity matrix I. So we got AB into B inverse A inverse is identity matrix I. Now we will see what is B inverse A inverse into AB. Again we use the associative property, so it is B inverse in bracket A inverse A whole into B. Again A inverse A is the identity matrix I. B into identity matrix I is B itself, so we'll get B inverse B, which is the identity matrix I. So we got AB into B inverse A inverse is equal to B inverse A inverse into AB equal to the identity matrix. Again by comparing it with equation number 1, we get that B inverse A inverse is the inverse of AB. That is AB inverse is equal to B inverse A inverse. So we have proved the second property. Now coming to the third property. Third property is A transpose whole inverse is equal to A inverse whole transpose. Also here A is non-singular, so we denote its inverse by A inverse. So we have A inverse is equal to A inverse A equal to identity matrix. Now we take transpose on both sides. So A inverse whole transpose is equal to A inverse A whole transpose is equal to transpose of the identity matrix. Now transpose property also satisfy the reversal law. So by reversal law we get A inverse transpose into A transpose is equal to A transpose into A inverse transpose equal to identity matrix, because transpose of the identity matrix is identity matrix itself. So we got A transpose A inverse transpose is equal to A inverse transpose A transpose is equal to the identity matrix. Again comparing it with equation number 1, we get that A inverse whole transpose is the inverse of A transpose. That is A transpose whole inverse is equal to A inverse transpose. Hence we have proved the 3 properties. So these 3 properties are very important. Next we will define another term called adjoint method. So first we will define the term adjoint matrix. So if A is an n by n matrix, then adjoint matrix is the transpose of the cofactor matrix. So you have already studied what is a cofactor matrix. So first you find the cofactor matrix. Its transpose means you have to interchange rows and columns. So in the first row C11, C12, etc. C1n. These are the entries of the cofactor matrix. So when you find its transpose, it becomes the first column C11, C12, etc. C1n. Second row becomes the second column, like that. So you have to find the transpose. So the adjoint matrix is nothing but the transpose of the cofactor matrix. It is called the adjoint of A, and we denote it by, we write it as ADJA. It is read as, we read it as adjoint A. Cofactor matrix, you know how to find the cofactor matrix. We have studied it in the last module. So cofactor matrix Cij, we will get it as by finding the minor. So the formula is Cij equal to minus 1 raised to I plus j Mij, where Mij is the minor of Aij. And how do we find minor? Minor means we have to find the determinant of the square submatrix obtained by deleting the ith row and jth column of A. So consider one example. Let A equal to the matrix 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose we want to find its adjoint matrix. So adjoint matrix is the transpose of the cofactor matrix. So first we will find the cofactor matrix. So the entries of the cofactor matrix are C11, C12, C21, C22. It's a 2 by 2 matrix here. So what is C11? By the formula it is M11. Okay, M11. And what is M11? M11 means corresponding to the element 1, we have to find the minor. So delete the row containing 1 and the column containing 1. So the element is 4. Now C12. C12 means it is minus M12. And what is M12? So delete the row containing 2 and the column containing 2. So it is 3. So C12 is minus 3. C21. C21 is again minus M21 using the formula minus M21. M21 means delete the row containing 3 and the column containing 3. So it is 2 minus 2. And C22 is M22. M22 is delete the row containing 4 and the column containing 4. So the value is 1. So we'll get adjoint of A is transpose of the matrix 4 minus 3 minus 2 1, and its transpose is 4 minus 2 minus 3 1. So in this way we can find adjoint of a 2 by 2 matrix. Now coming to a 3 by 3 matrix, you need to use the same formula. So suppose A is a 3 by 3 matrix with entries 1 2 0 0 1 2 2 0 1. Now here C11, the cofactor matrices C11 is M11, which is here you have to delete the row containing 1 and the column containing 1. So it is nothing but the determinant of 1 2 0 1, and its value is 1. So in this way we can find the remaining C12, C13, C21, C22, C23, C31, C32, C33. All entries you can do it by yourself. Okay, and you will get that adjoint of A is transpose of these values. So 1 4 minus 2 minus 2 1 4 4 minus 2 1. Its transpose is 1 minus 2 4 4 minus 1 minus 2 minus 2 4 1. So in this way we can find the adjoint of a matrix. So adjoint of a matrix is nothing but the transpose of the cofactor matrix. Cofactor matrix you have to find. By first finding the minor, you will get the cofactor. Now using this adjoint of A, we will study a very important formula for finding the inverse of an n by n matrix. So let A be an n by n matrix, and suppose that determinant of A is not equal to 0. It's a non-zero value. Then its inverse, A inverse, is defined as 1 by determinant of A into adjoint of A. So this is the formula for finding A inverse. You have to remember this. A inverse is 1 by determinant of A into adjoint of A. Here determinant of A is non-zero. So if determinant of A is 0, 1 by 0, it's infinity. So this A inverse will not exist in that case. So if determinant of A is 0, A inverse will not exist. So if determinant of A is not equal to 0, A inverse is 1 by determinant of A into adjoint of A. So using this formula, we will see how to find inverse of a matrix. So you consider a non-singular matrix 2 by 2, non-singular 2 by 2 matrix. Non-singular means it will have an inverse. You are considering a matrix which has an inverse. So suppose its entries are A11, A12, A21, A22. Then you can write the corresponding cofactor matrix. C11 is A22, C12 is minus A21, C21 is minus A12, and C22 is A11. Now first we will write the adjoint of A. Adjoint of A is transpose of the cofactor matrix. So the transpose of A22 minus A21 minus A12 A11, and which is equal to A22 minus A12 minus A21 A11. And once you get the adjoint, we know how to find determinant of A. So if determinant of A is also known, we can find the inverse very easily. So A inverse is 1 by determinant of A into the matrix A22 minus A12 minus A21 A11. So in this way we can find inverse of a non-singular matrix. Now consider a 3 by 3 non-singular matrix. So its entries are A equal to A11, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33. Now first you write the adjoint matrix A. So adjoint matrix A entries are C11, C12, C13, C21, C22, C23, C31, C32, C33. Now its transpose will give you the adjoint matrix. Okay, so you transpose it. So the values are C11, C21, C31, C12, C22, C32, C13, C23, C33. So once you got the adjoint matrix, we can also calculate the determinant of A, and you can write the inverse of the 3 by 3 matrix also. So next we have theorem 8.6.3 says that an n by n matrix A is non-singular if and only if determinant of A is not equal to 0. So this result is also very important. A is non-singular if and only if its determinant is non-zero. Non-singular means it has an inverse. So here we have to prove if and only if condition, that is necessary and sufficient condition is to be proved. So first suppose that A is non-singular. Then we need to show that its determinant is not equal to 0. Since A is non-singular, it has an inverse. Let A inverse be its inverse. Then by equation 1 we have A inverse equal to A inverse A equal to the identity matrix I. Now take determinant on both sides. So we'll get determinant of A inverse is equal to determinant of A inverse into determinant of A equal to determinant of the identity matrix I. Now determinant of I, what is determinant of identity matrix? Determinant of identity matrix will have only diagonal entries as 1 and remaining entries are 0. So its determinant is 1. You can check it. You take an 2 by 2 matrix, 3 by 3 matrix and check what is its determinant. So determinant of identity matrix, whatever be the order of I, it is always 1. So we got that determinant of A into determinant of A inverse is a non-zero quantity. Equal to 1 means it is a non-zero quantity. So if product of two numbers is non-zero, each number should be non-zero. Hence determinant of A is a non-zero quantity. So if A is non-singular, we have shown that determinant of A is non-zero. Now we have to prove the converse part. Suppose that determinant of A is non-zero. If determinant of A is non-zero, then A inverse exists, and A inverse is 1 by determinant of A into adjoint of A. So this quantity exists. It means that A inverse exists, which means that A has an inverse. So A is non-singular. Hence we have proved this theorem. So an n by n, we can also say that an n by n matrix is singular if and only if determinant of A is 0. Singular means it has no inverse. So if it has no inverse means its determinant of that matrix must be 0. Okay. So we got a new condition for checking whether the given matrix is singular or non-singular. For example, you consider the matrix A. A is 1, 2, 2, 4. You can see that determinant of A is 4 minus 4 equal to 0. It's 0. So since determinant of A is 0, we say that A is singular. It means that A has no inverse. So by directly finding the determinant, we can say whether the matrix has an inverse or not. Another example, you consider A equal to 1, 2, 1, 0. Here determinant of A is minus 2, which is a non-zero quantity, which implies that A is non-singular. Hence A will have an inverse. Okay. So by finding the determinant of the matrix, we can say whether it will have an inverse or not. If the determinant of the matrix is 0, it will not have an inverse. If the determinant of the matrix is non-zero, it will definitely have an inverse. And inverse we can find out using the formula A inverse is equal to 1 by determinant of A into adjoint of A. Now we will do two problems. So we have to find the inverse of the matrix A, which is 1, 4, 2, 10. So first we will check whether this matrix has an inverse or not. So first you find its determinant. Determinant of A is here 10 minus 8, so 2, which is a non-zero quantity. It means A is non-singular and A has an inverse. Now we can find inverse using the formula 1 by determinant of A into adjoint of A. Determinant of A we already got. Now find adjoint of A. So adjoint of A is transpose of the cofactor matrix. So here the cofactor matrix is 10 minus 2 minus 4 1. So its transpose is 10 minus 4 minus 2 1. So A inverse is, substitute for determinant of A. So A inverse is 1 by 2. 10 minus 4 minus 2 1, which is equal to 5 minus 2 minus 1 1 by 2. So we got the inverse of the matrix A. Now we consider a 3 by 3 matrix whose entries are 2 2 0 minus 2 1 1 3 0 1. Our problem is to find the inverse of this matrix. So before finding the inverse, we have to check whether it is invertible or not. For that we have to find its determinant. Here determinant of the matrix A is 12, which is a non-zero quantity. Hence we can say that A is non-singular and it has an inverse. And the inverse is given by the formula A inverse equal to 1 by determinant of A into adjoint of A. So determinant of A we already have, it is 12. Now we have to find adjoint of A. So adjoint of A is cofactor, is a transpose of the cofactor matrix. So we will get it as 1 minus 2 2 5 2 minus 2 minus 3 6 6. You can do this yourself. Okay. Now substitute the value. So you will get A inverse. A inverse is equal to 1 by 12 of this adjoint of A, which is equal to 1 by 12 minus 1 by 6 1 by 6, 5 by 12 1 by 6 minus 1 by 6 minus 1 by 4 1 by 2 1 by 2. So in this section we have studied what we meant by inverse of an square matrix. We have also studied some of its properties and how to find the inverse of the matrix. So first we will check whether the matrix is invertible. So you find its determinant. If determinant is non-zero, the matrix will have an inverse. If determinant is 0, it will not have any inverse. So if determinant is non-zero, we can find the inverse by using the formula A inverse is equal to 1 by determinant of A into adjoint of A. So this section is over. Thank you.